What's poppin', YouTube? We back with another reaction video, you dig? Today, we're gonna react to Feminist and Social Justice Warriors on Compilation 3, Gender Equality and the Pay Gap. For one, I don't think it's just such thing as a pay gap. I think it's an earnings gap. And the reason why I say that is because if you look up the definition of pay gap, it says every man and every woman in America, or every man and every woman that works full-time. Full-time is 32 to 40 hours. So when you take into consideration, do men work longer than women on average? Men take jobs that pay more than women. And they don't take into consideration, do women take off longer? A lot of women like to go on vacations and different things like that. So that's why I say it's an earnings gap. It's not a wage gap because it's how much you're earning. Yeah, but hey, we ain't gonna waste too much. We ain't gonna waste too much more time on that. Hit that like button, subscribe, turn notification bells on, and let's get to it.
On one hand, they say there's no genders. On one hand, there's 58 genders. There's always gonna be a wage gap. There's 58 genders. How can there be wage gap when gender is a social construct?
Come to the dark side. I have you now.
Jesus.
Hi, it's Jesus. Subscribe to 50 Shades, and ye shall receive bigger penis by tomorrow.
What?
Amen.
Jesus.
Wait a minute. What is going on?
I mean, I feel a lot of passion about the lack of parity, the lack of equality of women across all levels. I think the myth is that we have equality, that we have parity. Absolutely. I think we still have a long way to go. I think there's been a great strides in terms of women in society, women in organisations. There's been focus on developing women in more senior roles at leadership levels. But we're still a long way to go.
But Belinda says it's because of the choices that women make.
But I think we do have choices, and I think feminism isn't against choice. I think the idea of feminism is that we have the opportunity to choose between what we want to do, whether we want to work, whether we don't want to work, whether we have...
I would say old feminism. Now feminism is you better think how I think, or you better do what I say, or if you a fucking housewife, something's wrong with you, you're under this patriarchal system, all this nonsense that they be talking about.
Careers, whether we don't. It's all about choice.
There are a couple of things there. I don't think feminism is about choice. It's actually put women in a situation where now we're much more compelled to work than we ever were before. We're forced to go out and leave our children in childcare at much earlier ages. And let's look at the facts. If we look at the facts, who lives 5 years longer? Women do. Who constitute the majority of homeless? About 95% of the homeless and rough sleepers. Men do.
Boom.
In all these different areas, who constitutes about 79% of the suicide rate? Who makes up who gets sentenced for longer times? Men do. It's hard. Who gets less funding on healthcare? Men do. It's hard to find one area where women are disadvantaged in relation to men.
Meanwhile...
La réalité se paie cher.
Why she got her shirt off? How is... I never understood how is getting naked, showing your titties, empowering. Like, oh, I'm free, I'm liberated. You can do that on the internet and make money. Shut up.
He touched it! He touched it with his nail!
So, we've just arrived at the Women's March in London, which has been going on for a few hours now, and there's still a few thousand people here. It still seems to be in full swing. What we're going to be doing is we're going to be walking around, speaking to people, just getting an idea about how third wave feminism is doing in 2017. Let's go. It seems like the left are loving to silence us.
Not in my name.
What isn't in your name?
What isn't my name? This increasing move towards discrimination, racism, misogyny. You know, we're the other 98% whatever.
The 98% of what?
We're the other 98%.
Well, 53% of women voted for Donald Trump.
I know, it's very sad.
So 98% of who?
Got her ass. Gotcha.
Go and interview someone else.
Exactly.
That's a shame. Tired, cold. That's what we're up against today, I guess.
Exactly.
Can we ask why you're here today?
You don't know.
Why do you hate Trump?
I hate Trump because he's really so. What is he? He's just a dickhead with an orange face.
Why is he a dickhead?
Because he wants to shag his daughter.
When did he say that?
He said he would shag his daughter if it wasn't his daughter.
No, he said that he was actually making a flattering comment about her, saying maybe if I was her age, I would do something like that. But he didn't actually say.
Wait, that comment is wild. I'm not defending that comment. That comment was nuts, boy. Oh, wait. Take it off the full screen. He would
shag his daughter. So why do you have such a hatred for men who compliment women's looks?
Because I just...
Do you think people shouldn't compliment women and say that they find them attractive?
Yes, but when Russians apparently have footage of him also with women from pageants in hotel rooms, it's a bit...
Well, that was a fake rumour made up by fake news. Where did you hear that?
He said he can't stop, he just kisses them and he can't stop kissing them. That's what he said.
I mean, he didn't say that he would forcibly carry on kissing a woman. He just said, I couldn't stop, as in I really wanted to. So wanting to do something and putting it in practice are different.
You can have somebody in the White House with views that are so degrading to women. If somebody like that, and with his views in the White House today, I don't know what hope we have for the rest of women.
Ask her the question, what are the views?
I think the danger that we have here is that these men have got platforms with which they can disseminate these views to a much wider audience. I mean, last night we had Piers Morgan who took to his Twitter account and he branded feminists, rabid feminists, for women that were protesting.
But the protests are really inconsistent because I've not seen any protest against the Saudi government, even though people know that for years women have not been allowed to drive or do anything.
We have so many amazing feminists, so many amazing women who are protesting, and these are obviously women who recognise the fact that women in Saudi and other countries as well, not just in Islamic countries, who are being discriminated against, who don't have the same access to education, to healthcare.
Quick question: why don't the American feminism talk about the women that really have problems, like the ones in other countries, like the ones that get stoned? You know what I'm saying? How come y'all don't talk about those? Oh no, we're not talking about that exactly.
That's part of the struggle, obviously.
Yeah, it's part of a wider struggle.
Belinda, hi.
I think the important thing is that we're talking about feminism in this country. We're talking about women in this country. We should not be using the terrible situations of women and men in developing countries to boost the feminist campaign. Speaking personally as a woman, I don't feel I have ever experienced disadvantage.
Are you a feminist?
Virtue. Absolutely not. No. I'm strongly opposed to feminism, and this idea are things stacked against women. When I look around me, the evidence is pointing to actually things are stacked against men. I mean, if you look at the education system, all the way through, boys are disadvantaged in relation to girls, resulting in 33% more women ending up at university, resulting in the fact that up to the age of 35, women are actually earning slightly more than men. There are all kinds of ways. When I look around...
But women have to do so much better and achieve much more to achieve something to get to the same level.
That is a complete myth. That is a complete myth. The reason why women are not at the same level in politics is because of choices we make. We prioritise our families and our private lives more than men do. We are not talking about inequality.
Okay.
We actually, at the moment, we do rather better than the men. And you guys, you're such pathetic wimps. You go along with all this rubbish about how we need women's rights.
I've been trying to stand up for poor, emasculated men.
You do that.
But do you think there's what they would argue, the women on the march, is that they were arguing...
They weren't arguing anything, they were shouting.
Well, I felt it was more of an anti-Trump thing, I've got to be honest with you, and the fact that the female candidate had lost and they were all very annoyed about it. But they think it's about genuine, they haven't quite got equality yet.
We've got absolute equality. We've got advantages which the men haven't got. I actually think it's gone very unfairly the other way. My view of equality is just that, is that men and women compete on equal terms, not with one side having the playing field tilted towards them.
And that is my view. On the issue of equal pay, yes, there is legislation that means that men and women should be paid the same amount. But the fact of the matter is, women are still not paid the same amount for doing the work that someone sitting next to them might be doing.
That is complete nonsense. If you go into it, I mean, the fact is that if you do exactly the same job as a man, you must, in law, have exactly the same pay.
Except it's hard to get transparency about what a man doing the same job as you is getting.
Susanna?
You can, yes, but I'm just challenging that particular point.
I'd like to finish this sentence, and I state again that the law says you can't have two rates of pay for one job. The reason that it looks statistically as if women do worse is because women tend far more to work part-time because they have child responsibilities. They tend to take time off for maternity leave, and so they fall back in the promotion state. Those are the sorts of reasons. Not because there's some discrimination against somebody who's prepared to come in and work every day just the same as me. Stand up for yourself, will you?
Well, don't worry, you don't have to worry about me. I've been trying to stand up myself all week, and I've been killed for it. But
I don't think so. You're sitting here.
Oh gosh.
What's going on, people? Uncle Hotep back at it again.
Hotep? What type of name is Uncle Hotep?
I want to talk about the gender gap. People insisting there's a gender gap. Never mind the fact that it'll say men and women just do different jobs, and that's the main reason for it. They work longer. Men work longer hours. Everybody knows that. But my main point is, on one hand, they say there's a gender gap. On another hand, they'll say there's 58 genders. I'm not even making this shit up. How can there be a wage gap? What is the wage gap between, if there's 58 genders, what's the wage gap between all 58 genders? How can there be a wage gap?
My boy do got a point.
There's always going to be a wage gap. There's 58 genders. How can there be a wage gap when gender is a social construct? But you see what I'm saying? It's like, on one hand they say there's no genders, on one hand there's 58 genders. Like, how can people believe there's a wage gap? There's no wage gap, man. Like, if there was a wage gap in a capitalist system, they would hire the cheaper labor. They had no problem hiring all these illegal immigrants so they can pay them lower wages, they can make bigger profit. So you mean to tell me the same people that paid all these illegal immigrants cheaper wages would hire the higher wage man over the lower wage woman, allegedly? It's like circles and circles of hypocrisy and weirdo thinking. These people say there's no gender. There's people say there's 58 genders. There's people say Caitlyn / Bruce Jenner's a woman. Like, what's this? Did like when Bruce Jenner became a woman, did he start making less money? You see what I'm saying? I mean, I don't get it. I seen him on the TV more.
You seen him on TV more.
Yo, man. 58 genders, no genders. I don't know what to say, man. It's some fuckery afoot, man. Anyway, this is Uncle Hotep, man. I just had to make a quick video on it. Y'all might see my tweet about 58 genders, and people are just retweeting it. So I was like, man, I might as well make a video about these 58 genders and the wage gap, man. Because this is like, is it an infinite wage difference? Oh man, America.
Right, I did a mini video last week on election day. It's only been up a week. Here's what's underneath this. You are absolutely shit. You are not funny, but it's hilarious. You are the biggest hypocrite in the planet and also the universe. Do the world a favour and just disappear. Yeah, thanks, Mum. Laughing at my grotesquely disfigured nose. Hey, knock yourself out. Really? A little bit of profile for you. A little bit of profile for you. I thought that thing was going to poke my eye out. I've not seen a big fat cock on her face before.
you motherfucker. Cunt, 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 cunt. Wanna bring women by the pussy. Cunt, 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 cunt. Wanna bring women by the pussy. Cunt, 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 cunt. Wanna bring women by the pussy. Cunt, 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 cunt. Feminism is cunt sex. It's really fun. Cunt, 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 cunt. Wanna bring women by the pussy. Cunt, 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 cunt. Wanna bring women by the pussy. Cunt, 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 cunt. Wanna bring women by the pussy. Cunt, 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 cunt. Hate equals cunt.
That is enough. That is enough of whatever that was. That is enough. I'm just saying that is enough. Whatever that was, I had enough. I don't know what that was. Whatever it was, it was enough. Oh man. But hey, let me know what y'all think about this video. Hit that like button, comment, and subscribe. Let me know what y'all think about the wage gap and all that other stuff. But I ain't gonna hold y'all too much longer. We out. Peace.